be very afraid of the papercraft Italia army that has started up on my refrigerator. They will attack in advance. Princess Sarah M here, and welcome to Mission Otaku. Alright, this week's theme of the week is your first convention. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you about my first convention. This should be all new to you except Brittany, because she's the one who got me to go to the convention in the first place. So this has her in it also. It was her idea to go to this con. This con is not in my normal con circuit. I don't run up to Winnipeg, Canada on a regular basis every year for a convention. The con that I'm speaking about is Ai-Kon. The reason we heard about this was, at the time, she had showed me Fullmetal Alchemist, and we both were huge fans of it. So we found out that Ai-Kon was bringing Vic Mignogna in. So we were like, oh my gosh, let's go up to Winnipeg, Canada at the time to go see Vic Mignogna. So we purposely went to Winnipeg, Canada for Ai-Kon to see Vic Mignogna. I know that sounds absolutely crazy to myself now. But, so we decided it was in July convention. It was my first convention ever. I heard about these conventions for years from Brittany. So, I was like, okay, let's do this. So, it was really fun for the most part. I'll give you my first, I have a con story from this con that I like to share. It's basically how not to get lost on the way up to your to where you're going, to your convention. Brittany's dad had allowed us to borrow his GPS, and because we didn't know exactly how to get to Winnipeg from Minnesota at the time, where Central Minnesota, where Brittany was living at the time, and I was staying with her. So her dad let us borrow his GPS. Well, the only problems we found with GPS is they don't factor in road construction. So we were in Fargo trying to find the correct road, and the whole time there was road construction going on, and the GPS didn't factor it in. So the whole time it's telling us to please make a turn around at any possible point you can while we're looking for this road. It took us some crazy places. It took us like all the way over to this like industrial area, to this residential area, because it didn't know what it was doing because it was in the road construction area. So my first thing I learned about conventions when traveling there, don't always trust GPSs. They don't always work. Trust me, I was about this close to throwing that GPS out the window. Another thing I learned from my first convention is always pack food. Yes, we had, since it's Canada, we exchanged our money, but I paid, so it wasn't completely in US dollars, but I paid $7 for a Subway sub. And because we didn't think to pack food, because we didn't realize that, because we were crossing the border, we weren't sure if they allowed us to bring food across the border. So we didn't pack any food at all that weekend for the convention. We lived off of Tim Horton muffins, and, sorry, cat again. We lived off of Tim Horton muffins and Subway, and I think maybe we went to some sandwich place one time, all weekend long. So it's like my second thing I learned from my first convention is to always pack food. All in all, though, it was a really good convention. We were able to, at the time, we were both very big active members in the Reasonable Rangers. Yes, Red Dawn for, I believe there's a couple in this. I can't remember what it is. You had the Reasonable Ranger T-shirt on. Oh, Nick, yeah, that's correct. So Red Dawn for that. So at the time we were big Reasonable Ranger members, and so we actually got to basically have a dinner with Vic Mignogna, and basically became his little daughters for the weekend, which was pretty awesome. There was at one point at the con where we were helping him sell his CDs, and he's like, so there was this room full of fangirl girls. And okay, he's like, okay, where are my girls at? The ones that were helping me. And like, we just come up and he was meaning for us too. We walk up there, and I swear to God, we had the whole room of evil fangirls just glaring at us because he called us his girls. So, and it was pretty good. Like I said, we were helping with Rhythm Radio. We actually had dinner with him. That happened right after the convention, after closing ceremonies. That was a lot of fun. It was basically me and Brittany and a couple other rangers we had came across up at the con, and we went out to dinner with him. It was a lot of fun. That's really odd for my first convention, because I mean, to meet a big VA like Vic Mignogna, your first convention, it's like, whoa. Now, I mean, I still meet a lot of voice actors going to different conventions, but the first one, that's a huge thing. But yeah, that's mostly my first convention. It was what got me hooked at conventions. Although I didn't go to another convention until that spring, 2007, I think, 2008, yeah. To No Brand. That's one of the ones that's always in my con circuit now. But yeah, that was my first convention, and it was a really good one. Learned a few things. Like I said, always bring food with you. Don't trust GPSs. Anyway, yeah, that's my first convention story, and I look forward to hearing about the rest of yours next tomorrow. And the rest of the boys are next week. This rest of this week. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. See you guys next week.